This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm here with Fred Root and Associates. Since 1993, he has been helping you make a confident decision about your property. Thanks for joining us, Fred. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. In 1993, you started inspecting properties. But quite honestly, it was many more years before that. Back in your 20s, learned how to weld, went on to do some construction work with your family. Construction's in your blood, and this is really a way that you keep your hands in it. Share with me how you got started.
Well, as a young man, didn't know what I wanted to do. Kind of fell into construction. Taught myself how to weld, became a sheet metal worker, worked union sheet metal, and also became a pipe fitter. And worked on nuclear power plants, fossil fuel plants, until they stopped building nuclear power plants in mid to late 80s. Then went into construction, residential construction with my dad and my brother.
Interesting. I mean, quite honestly, as consumers, many things we purchase in our lives, probably one of the biggest and most expensive is a home, either for our own residence or for us to invest in. Is this one time we should maybe put emotion on the back burner for a moment and decide to do some due diligence on what we're buying?
No doubt. People shopping for houses are looking for a lot of things: location, color, room layout. It's a big commitment, and everybody should get a home inspection because, frankly, a lot of people have friends that are in the construction business, maybe have a trade or a relative they'll have inspect their home. But until you've spent some time actually inspecting homes, it's sort of a trade in of itself.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, I mean, as a home buyer, my eyes are fixated on the location, the schools, the park, the layout. I'm looking at colors, I'm looking at designs. How does that differ compared to what an inspector is looking at?
Well, we don't really care much about that. You know, colors can change. There's a lot in a house that people don't realize. Some of it very expensive to repair or replace. A lot of it's safety related. And until you actually spend some time inspecting a house, you're not going to realize those things.
Definitely one thing many of us don't like are surprises, especially when there are problems down the road. Quite honestly, even if what you find doesn't steer a person away totally from a purchase, how can it really help even in the negotiations of what you do find?
Well, a lot of times there'll be very expensive items to replace that can affect the price of the house. Sometimes homes are listed, they stretch it a little bit, calling bedrooms rooms that aren't compliant for bedrooms, that kind of thing. There's a big difference in price between a 3-bedroom and a 4-bedroom house, things like that.
Interesting. Let's talk about some of the areas of the home here. I mean, quite honestly, even before we walk into the home, there's a lot you can inspect. We're talking about outside, walkways, fences, irrigation systems, curb and gutter, and the actual exterior itself. Tell me what you're looking for there.
Well, as I'm driving into the neighborhood, I'm looking at the neighborhood, what the topography is, how that particular street and area drains. Water's a big problem, can be a big problem, can cause major structural damage. So drainage is a big one. How the house has been maintained. As soon as you drive up, you can tell whether there's a lot of deferred maintenance, things like that.
One of the areas that can be really costly and rather noticeable is if you have a problem in your roof. Obviously, there's more penetrations in a roof than probably people realize.
Roof inspection is a lot more than shingles. We always walk the roof surface if we possibly can. There are times when it may be a material or a pitch of the roof that will prevent that. If that's the case, we'll check it with binoculars and or a ladder from the edge of the roof or from upper windows. But yeah, you have a lot of penetrations and then flashings. Particular concern is penetrations. You want to make sure they're properly flashed anytime you have a hole in your roof or anything, whether it be a skylight, plumbing vent, furnace exhaust, or where junctures meet, valleys, where a roof meets a wall, that sort of thing.
Interesting. I mean, they say a house is only good as its foundation. What are you looking for when you walk around checking out foundations, and what have you found for folks?
Well, foundation, when you drive up to a house, and as you're going through a house, you're looking for plumb, level, and square. Hopefully, they started out that way. Not always the case. Exterior-wise, that's where drainage comes in. If you're going to have a foundation problem, it's primarily going to be due to poor drainage and or type of soil that you have. So that starts with drainage, making sure your roof runoff is properly managed. And then if a basement's finished, you always have very little of the foundation that's visible for inspection. So you got to go by movement in the structure itself, stress factors in the drywall, out of level floors, out of square door openings, that sort of thing.
Interesting. As we walk into the home, your process really is a room-by-room inspection. We're talking about walls, floors, ceilings, trim. What are you looking for there as well? Are we talking about plumbing square as well there?
Yeah, installation. You know, unfortunately, homeowners cause a lot of problems to their own home. It's good to do it yourself. I'm all for that. But there's a lot of misguided things that are done as far as the trim, door installation, that kind of thing.
Not only the actual structure of the wall, but actually what's on the wall itself. We're talking about light switches, electrical outlets, even many times there's plumbing fixtures. Are these things that are tested as well? Absolutely.
All the major mechanical systems are gone over very thoroughly. That'd be plumbing, electrical, heating. Electricians are very knowledgeable and do great work. It's rare to find problems in newer homes with electrical. They're inspected very well by regional, and same with plumbing. The trouble comes in a lot of times in the older homes where you've had wear over the years, build up, that kind of thing, or homeowner modifications.
Interesting. One of the things we do find in homes are plenty of windows. How are windows expected? What kind of problems can be posed there? Are we talking about broken or functioning? Is that taken a look at?
Oh yeah, we look at all the windows. Any window we can get to, we look at very carefully, starting on the outside where we begin the inspection, and as we go through the house. The quality of the window makes a big difference. Rare to find problems with the higher end windows, but there's not a lot of them around on tract housing, more you find that in custom homes. But we check operation all the windows for proper operation. A common defect we find are broken vacuum seals, where everyone's seen windows that get moisture inside between the two panes and fog up. That's a very common thing that can be caused by the quality of the window and or weather conditions. So that's a real common.
One of the things I notice in some of the homes inside the kitchen, many times you have built-in appliances that are there. Are those some of the things that actually can be tested as well, just to make sure they're functioning?
First thing we do when we come inside is start in the kitchen. We'll run some hot water, get the hot water going, and then start the dishwasher. We check all the appliances, refrigerator, oven, microwave. If there's a washer and dryer that stay with the property, we run those through a cycle as well.
One of the things, obviously, living here in Colorado that we don't want to break down is our heating system. You've got a background of installing HVAC. Is this an area you can help folks make sure that their heating systems are set up properly?
Oh, absolutely. Again, that's a major mechanical system, and it's checked very carefully, and also any items associated with that, like humidifiers. Humidifiers are commonly installed improperly. So we check that very thoroughly. First thing you look at in a furnace is age. Older furnaces are a major concern. We want to make sure the heat exchanger doesn't have a crack or a hole in it. Modern furnaces designed a little better, more efficient. Heat exchangers, not really too big a problem on those. But yeah, we go over those very thoroughly.
You've touched on a little bit about plumbing. I mean, we're talking about visible fixtures, faucets, dripping, this type of thing. Even hot water heater, is that something you can take a look at?
Oh, a water heater, yeah, that's a potential bomb in your house. There's not a lot of things in your house that can kill you, but your furnace and water heater or any gas-burning appliance can do that. So want to make sure they're not producing any carbon monoxide, got a nice clean flame, all the safety features on those are working properly. And again, age is the first thing you look at on any appliance like that.
Fred, with your experience, basically you're able to work pretty closely not only with homeowners, but with realtors, investors, even for folks that need it outside of this area. Tell me about that.
Well, I do a lot of different type of properties. I'm fortunate enough to have commercial construction experience, so I do a lot of small commercial construction and some larger properties as well. I do condominium HOA turnovers, where the builder, before the builder turns the property over to the HOA, I come and inspect all the exterior units. Obviously don't do each individual unit, but all the site, common areas, and all the exterior of the condominium complexes as well.
Excellent. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you get a clearer idea of all the different areas that they're able to inspect for you right there in your home. We're talking about single home dwellings, multi-home, apartment buildings. Maybe you've got a vacation rental you want to check out. You can also take a look at the testimonials right there online as well and check out qualifications. This is a gentleman that basically has been in the construction business for many, many years. He brings a plethora of really experience to the table. I mean, you're probably learning every day. It's probably an ongoing process for you. This was a good fit for you in '93 when you began, but even so, you felt it was important to be ASHI certified. Why is that?
Well, as you know, Colorado has no licensing, so you certainly want to have a certification. You don't want to just hang up your shingle and call yourself a home inspector. So took some correspondent courses, took the tests, had to have a number of fee-paid inspections before you can become a member. And my education really began when I began doing home inspections. I knew a lot about construction, a lot about the different mechanical systems. Inspecting a home, going through it thoroughly, is really a trade in and of itself.
Even eye-opening for a professional like yourself. I mean, you'd been doing it and doing a great job. It's probably eye-opening what can be found still, even possibly in a new construction. I mean,
every new home buyer should have their house inspected. Did one yesterday in Fort Collins, and quite a lengthy report, a lot of items. Builders, you know, I think they tend to know that homeowners aren't going to recognize these things, and obviously it's not wear and tear or misuse of the property, but it's quality of workmanship, shortcuts. Sequence always comes to play in a house, whether because of weather or deliveries. Things get done out of a sequence, which affect the quality of the construction.
Absolutely. I mean, quite honestly, this isn't a cost people pay. This is an investment in a bigger investment. I mean, it's really a small fraction of what you're paying for when it comes to a home for some real serious peace of mind.
Yeah, a home inspection is peanuts compared to what you're paying for a house, and it's actually a very rare thing that you don't get your money back from the inspection by the repairs that are found and need to be made.
Yep, I believe that. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their contact information. It's just as simple as signing up right there. They can come out and do an inspection for you. If you're not sure of the size of home, what the cost may be, give him a call. He'd be glad to sit down, speak with you over the phone, and find out if this is something he can help you with. That is Fred Root & Associates since 1993. What you don't know can hurt you. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.